And Sheila, this is Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volume 3, Becoming. We are in on page 345 if you're following along with me in the book. And it is session transmission number 36. When each individual being incarnates on this planet, it is with the explicit intention of blessing all experiences into wisdom, not only for themselves, but also for the planetary whole. It would seem that each individual life expression can hardly be a blessing to the planet and its inhabitants as a unit. But that is very much the case. Each has the opportunity to focus his life experience for the quote, good of all concerned. That inclusion is far reaching indeed. When this intention can be coupled with harmonious application of the universal laws, a great contribution to the planetary consciousness is made. Fame or fortune need not accompany this contribution. Most often, the greatest contributions are made in obscurity and often without the conscious knowledge of the person doing so. I've seen this quite a bit of recent late. That lets me know that this is absolutely a true statement. There is not one individual on this planet born that it didn't come here for a very specific purpose, one that only they can fulfill for the good of all concerned. Only they will know and may not even know what it is, but they will do it. It will be there. I don't think we missed the boat. I don't think it's possible to. So anybody that holds the unenlightened in some sort of judgment because they don't know something, I don't think it's required. I really don't. I used to be one of those kind of people that felt, well, you just don't know. And if you knew, you wouldn't act the way you do. No, that's not the right way to think about this, at least not for me anymore. I see that very clearly. These individuals simply experience life as a pleasant and harmonious sojourn. These are often recognized as being, quote, an old soul, a term applied to those who seem to create for themselves an experience of simplicity and contentment, and no recognition is given to them as accomplishing anything in particular. However, from a larger perspective, their contributions are a major balancing factor. This does not in any way take away from those that do place themselves in the forefront of activity and contribute greatly to the focus of attention to not only great good, but also to great evil. It is difficult to consider that those that focus evil into recognition are of service to the planetary whole. It can be considered that they draw to them the evil that is present in the mass consciousness as a boil draws the infection present within a body to a crisis point so that it may burst or be incised and removed, and healing may take place. It is the tendency of humanity to judge and blame individuals and situations from their individual point of view rather than from the larger picture of planetary wholeness. Each has their own particular purpose for reincarnating, and through the law of attraction, bringing into experience what is needed to complete the purpose for the lifetime. As mentioned previously, each lifetime is a contribution to a greater totality of experiencing into wisdom. There exists a holograph of experience that requires the completion of various segments of experience in order that the completion may be experienced. Therefore, it is unwise for individuals to decide what is good or bad with regard to the behavior of others, as well as their choice of lifestyle. Each is to strive to accomplish what seems important in the moment and to listen to the inner guidance that is available to all. Boy, I feel like that's true. I'm now in a portion of the book that I haven't read. This is all brand new to me as well. It is difficult to do this in an environment of coercion at all levels and periods of life experience. Fortunately, there are those that do hear and or feel strongly what is appropriate for them and consistently move toward their unknown goals. Frustrating as it is one of the requirements that the goals are either forgotten or influenced out of the awareness by the parent, religion, government influences present from birth until death. I feel like that's a true statement. If even you don't know what it is you're supposed to do, then something else can't actually deter you either. Dun, 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 dun. I do prefer to look at it like that, right? That is a form of protection that I have afforded myself, right? And I'm seeing it as something else too, being open to whatever presents and allowing thought to think within itself and see, because that's how the only way that new stuff can actually come in. As each moves through their sequential life experience, it is impossible for them to ascertain their success or failure within regard to attaining the intended goal. Each must follow their guidance and keep on keeping on. A life filled with synchronicities and one that answers inner urgings to undertake what seems appropriate actions and that appear to accomplish the desired goals may well be on, quote, track. Well, it certainly feels like it, and there's certainly a difference in the feeling when one's moving towards those things of the experience itself. It seems, for me at least, way more joyful to move in that fashion through the rest of my life. This is especially true when the ultimate purpose is, quote, for the highest and best good of all concerned. This may be stated in other ways, such as, quote, creating a win-win situation in all ways possible, etc. It is the intention that is measured. Through ethical intention, the first two universal laws are invoked. Well, I think that's so, because once I allowed myself the freedom to see myself in all of my entirety and stop judging myself, the need to judge others left as well. I'm not gonna lie. And getting over myself when I see myself and see how silly I've been, it's easier to laugh at it than it is to get mad and upset and frustrated with it. Which also changes the vibratory feel of whatever that is, too. If, quote, ethical is a prerequisite, then why indeed does evil seem to succeed? Well, that's a good question. It is because the laws work regardless of who employs them. It is the outcome that is measured by the ethical intention of, quote, the highest and best good of all concerned. The intended manifestation process that is contrary to the good of all must reach a crossover point where unknown instability destroys what is not harmonious in the larger picture, for there are no individual minds capable of interpreting all possibilities. That's true. And by holding my focus of a feeling of what I wish to experience, that is attracted, and that other isn't, if that made any sense there. It is the clarity and duration of the intended focus that does hold a, quote, evil situation in manifestation beyond the normal point of destruction. And what if concentrating on fighting that also keeps it here? That really has been in my field quite a bit of late. I'm being shown that the resistance to things actually keeps them here by saying, you have no power over me, and moving along actually has a lot more power. Knowledge of the universal laws is not normally an unknown. Therefore, those who plan to hold on to Earth as a colony know and understand their application well. It is the human population that has been denied the knowledge and understanding of them, so that they cannot use them to help free themselves from the plan to continue their enslavement. It can therefore be understood why the knowledge of these important laws is a prerequisite to those humans calling forth the freedom of Earth's inhabitants. Right. The law of attraction, the law of intention and focus, the law of allowance, and the law of balance and harmony is what I can glean from this book that they are referring to here with these universal laws. These messages have from the beginning been leading the readers toward the acceptance of the truth that they contain. It has been necessary to slowly and carefully lay a foundation of understanding that moves beyond blame for the condition in which humanity finds itself. It is important that mankind accept the responsibility that they have allowed themselves to be duped and misled. Oh no, I hope that didn't. Apparently, it bleeped out and came back in. I'll have to go back and see about that. I'm going to repeat this last sentence. Hopefully, it didn't mess up the recording. It is important that mankind accept the responsibility that they have allowed themselves to be duped and misled over thousands of years to be the slaves and toys of those who would control them. The plan to hold them in this deplorable condition has been one carefully implemented since man has been allowed to, quote, rule himself, which is one of the reasons why anyone that's paying attention to what's going on in the United States can see why it's so important what is going on there on a much more multi-dimensional layer, in my view, right? It's all about sovereignty. Who are you going to trust? Is it yourself, or are you going to believe this hype dream reality that's being piped in from elsewhere? You know, it is a free will universe. So, right. These, okay, so I wanted to read that again. The plan to hold them in this deplorable condition has been one carefully implemented since man has been allowed to, quote, rule himself. That these human rulers were/are carefully controlled is absolutely true. By absenting themselves, the true rulers have hidden their influence behind blind faith, augmented by cruel punishment for disobedience, meted out by a, quote, God of love. The paradox of this claim has kept mankind in a constant turmoil and exactly where it was planned that they be. It is the hope of those waiting patiently for evolved humans to see through the ruse and to declare among themselves the intention of ending this practice once and for all. It is the key to all hope for creating a new paradigm of experience. I agree. I think that's there is a difference for me. I hope you will join me for the next one. That's the end of transmission 36. And I'll be back with number 37, but not today. I will be putting these out today. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is a matter of choice, and you have the right to slow yourself down and check in with yourself and see how you feel. Is there another perspective one might look at for oneself? Until we meet again, my friends, be well.